Cool everyone, I have only 40 minutes left to record this video and I still have to edit it and record some background gameplay, so I think I'll try to be brief and concrete this time. So for the context, I want to remind that it's the 4th week of the 5th leap when I try to implement the shape up methodology. All the phases, all the concepts I try to implement during this leap. And the 4th week simultaneously is the 2nd week of the building phase when I decided to focus on the Combobox element. And basically this week was dedicated for exploring and tinkering with the Combobox element scope. I want to briefly mention the other scopes because I have 3 of them, and the first one being the infrastructure remained basically untouched this week. During my last week I've already tinkered a lot with it, so I decided not to touch it this time. Furthermore, I have all the needed functions working, so basically I can fetch the data and serve static files fine, well. So yeah, basically all my needs up to this moment are covered, and I don't know what should I else do inside the infrastructure kind of scope. I still have one unchecked task in place, which is find a way to conveniently serve static files with the routing, because right now I have to basically write the whole path inside my URL in order to receive the file I need. So yeah, there are still things to do, but this week I haven't touched them. Now let's move to the second element, being the Combobox element scope. And here I moved a little bit uphill. I've managed to create an index page, and I also added an input of type search there. I also designed an endpoint with all the backend stuff. So I now have one domain model, and I also have an endpoint which uses this domain model in order to serve the files. Now, if you can remember, the goal of this project is basically to query the files on the disk and basically return them as some sort of search recommendations for this Combobox element. And right now, I think 80% of the functions are done. So of course, of my current understanding of what this element should do. Another scope being Markdown preview page, which is like the second big chunk of work inside this project, remained basically untouched. Once again, I focused all my attention on the Combobox element, and I didn't touch Markdown preview at all. And I also need working Combobox element in order to continue my exploration towards Markdown preview page. Now I want to share my thoughts about this project and how is it going. And my first thought is that I've spent only 2 hours on this project this week, which is really sad for me considering the fact that the best must be respected. Of course, I have many excuses for not really focusing on this project, but this still is a very sad truth of my ability to focus on single thing. I still consider a good thing to make such reports, because 2 hours or 3 hours are better than 0. And yeah, basically I think that despite the fact I've spent too little time, I still consider this a good thing that I've even showed up. So yeah, my second thought is when I started to design backend, my lack of architecture knowledge quickly popped up. So I really started to think about which models should be inside the domain, what are the layers inside my application, or which architecture should I consider. And as you may know, there are a lot of different architectures: onion architecture, layered architecture, microservice architecture, all these fancy architectures. But luckily, I pretty fast convinced myself that my project is not of type where you need such a complex architecture to be implemented, and that done is basically better than perfect. So I continued to build stuff, but still I think it could backfire me later down the road, because when I'd like to add some more features, or if I'd like to continue working on this project in my next leap, the lack of architecture and the amount of technical debt I basically accumulate right now could backfire pretty hard. But for now, I think it's okay to it's basically just a prototype. So yeah, I think no architecture is needed. You have to just keep in mind some of the basic rules, that components should be, there should be separate of concerns. Components shouldn't be tightly coupled together, and basically remember all these basic stuff. And right now I want to insert the scopes chart, because the last time I forgot to do this. So I hope I'll insert it here right now. Now, as you may see, I have some scopes moved, which is a nice thing. After all, it means that I at least show up and do some things focused in one direction. Now, that's all what I wanted to say for today. Thanks for watching. Or I should maybe also share my thoughts about the next week. And the next week I have basically discovered some more tasks to do. So I want to focus on the Combobox API and on these elements styling. So I need to figure out whether should I fetch all the available files at once, or should I fetch them when I type. And I also need to find a way to make suggestions based on their relevance, because right now I think that the default search element have the suggestions by default, and this kind of not what I want from this project. So already when I type inside my search box element, it suggests me from the list I've created, and it it matches what I've typed to the available values, and return only the values that are matching the text I've typed, which is a great thing. But I still want to show, for example, 10 values at once, and show their fuzzy search metric, so fuzzy search scope. That was the initial goal of this project, and I think I need to figure out how to do this. Now, basically, that's all I wanted to say for now. For now, thanks for watching, and boo-boo.